When you get organized, it creates like this domino effect in your life. You become more efficient in everything that you do, so you get more done in your days and your weeks. And because of that, you're more inspired and you're more creative. Because you're more inspired and creative, you have more ideas. Because you have more time, you act on more ideas, and so on and so forth. In this video, I want to talk about the art of getting organized with mise en place. I want to give you a bunch of really actionable ideas that you can take and apply to your own life. So mise en place is a French phrase that means put in place, and it's used by chefs all around the world. It's a philosophy, but it's also a system. You can both have mise en place and you can practice mise en place. To be a good chef, you have to be incredibly organized, and that is why good chefs practice mise en place. And what chefs often find is that when they practice mise en place in the kitchen, they also become more organized in their day-to-day life. Because mise en place is so focused more so around mindset and principles that you can really embrace in any area of your life, they find that it filters out into all of the areas of their life. The first mindset that those who practice mise en place embrace is that planning saves time. A quote that is quite popular says, "For every minute spent in organizing, an hour is earned." And the world of mise en place really took that and they ran with it. There are two key differences in the way that you would approach planning when you're practicing mise en place as opposed to regular planning. Firstly, you are completely and totally honest with your time. Secondly, your plan always contains a sequence of when things are done and also breaks things down into sub-steps. When you talk to people and they say that they're bad at planning, they just can't get planning to work for them, one of the key reasons is because they're being really dishonest with how long things are going to take them to get done. In my video on why your productivity systems aren't working, I talk about this in a bit more detail. I'll have that linked down below as well as on the screen. But the two reasons that people estimate their time so poorly is because firstly, they don't have any historical data. They have no idea how long it's taken them in the past to get something done. Therefore, they have no idea how long it'll take them to get done now. And secondly, because they don't account for the unexpected. They expect every single day to be super smooth and for there to be no interruptions. And of course, when you have that kind of mindset, you're gonna be filling your planner to the brim. You're expecting the absolute most from yourself. The two remedies to becoming more honest with your time are firstly, tracking your time. So creating that historical data. How long do you take to get your average stuff done? And secondly, give yourself ranges. So if there's a task that sometimes takes 10 minutes, sometimes takes 40 minutes, you know that range and you plan for the upper end of the range. And to account for unexpected, build in space in your plan. Do not fill every second of your time block with tasks. The next mise en place mindset to embrace is that if a task is 90% finished, it's as good as 0% finished. This one hit me really hard when I first read it. When it comes to the kitchen, dishes are really all or nothing. You can't serve a dish without the sauce. If it's not 100% done, it is a worthless dish. Rather than jumping from one action to another, chefs start something and then they complete it in full. If you are someone who often jumps from task to task, you know how it feels to have like a build-up of unfinished items just sitting in the back of your mind waiting to be finished. To practice mise en place, create a delivery mentality. Sometimes you will not be able to finish a task, and in that case, still maintain that delivery mentality, but think about how you can make it as easy as possible for yourself to go back to that task. Because once a task is dropped, we often underestimate how much energy it's going to take to get back to it. If you don't finish your craft project in time for dinner, put all of your craft stuff in one place in a container so it's easy to take out and get back to it. If you don't finish writing a document in Notion on time, favorite the page so that you can get back to it really easily. If you feel totally exhausted, you can't finish your design, book a focus mate session so that you're accountable to get back to it tomorrow, where you can build a delivery mentality. This video is based on the book, The Life-Changing Power of Mise en Place. It's a book that I really enjoyed, and I also have all of the books that I've enjoyed the absolute most listed on my website, which I created in Squarespace. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the platform that I recommend to literally anyone that wants to start a website. It's so easy to use, it's highly user-friendly, and you can make your websites absolutely beautiful even if you have no design experience. One of my favorite things about Squarespace is that really it's an all-in-one platform. There are no plugins, there are no patches, there are no updates, and as a lazy gal myself, I don't want to be updating my website on a regular basis. And that is the beauty of Squarespace. You don't have to worry about any of those things. It's low maintenance. It's flexible for any kind of website, so small businesses, creators, artists, designers, whatever kind of website you need to create, you can create it with Squarespace. I created my main website on Squarespace, which has my favorite books page, and I also created my app website on Squarespace. It's really my go-to. Click on the link below, squarespace.com/MichelleB. Use the code MichelleB to get 10% off of your first purchase. Once again, that is squarespace.com/MichelleB using the code MichelleB to get 10% off of your first purchase. The next mise en place mindset to embrace is to design your environment to make your life easier. Everything you need should have a home, and everything that you need should be accessible. In the kitchen, this means that ingredients are close by and they're arranged in order. Tools are arranged in a way that makes cooking easy and fast. Chefs have a lot of checklists, so they don't have to keep everything in their head. At home or at work, this means organizing things to remove any resistance. And this can be digitally and it can be physically. To remove resistance, you might move something so that it's closer to you. For example, moving your daily planner really close to you so that it's more likely that you'll plan your tomorrow. You might create checklists to make things easier. So if you have a weekly reset that you do, you'd have a little checklist that guides you through it. It means creating templates that guide you through things that you do over and over again. So for me, I have a video script template. And it means creating software automations that make whatever you do easier. For example, I have a software automation that opens up all of the things that I need, like Google Calendar as well as Notion, at 5 a.m. or so in the morning, so that my computer's ready to go when I sit down. To embrace this mindset, commit to removing any friction in your work. The next mise en place mindset is a messy station equals a messy mind, and a clean station equals a clean mind. Chefs have to clean their space because if they don't, it can be dangerous. But they also clean their space because in a way, it also helps them to clear their mind. If you work in mess, you lose time. If it takes you 10 minutes to find a document that you saved last week, you lose time. If it takes you 5 minutes to find that form that you need to complete, you lose time. And not just within those 5 minutes, but also within the task switching from looking for the item to completing the item. In Work Clean, The Life-Changing Power of Mise en Place, one of my favorite examples that the author talks about is how yoga teachers come back to a neutral position between each exercise. And he recommends that you should do the same thing when you're working. Between each task, activity, or even set of activities, come back to a neutral position by wiping your slate clean. And by slate, that might mean wiping your desk clean, putting things in order, or it could also mean minimizing everything on your computer or exiting out of everything on your computer. The next principle that you can embrace in mise en place is that starting is a shortcut. Obviously, when you are cooking, there are some things that need to be done before others. In the world of cooking, you need to make sure that you put the rice on early so that it's good to go when you plate a dish. Putting the rice on doesn't take a very long time, but if it isn't done, it mucks everything up. You need to get the ball rolling by putting the rice on first. So to translate that to life outside of cooking, it might be that of a morning you need to put on the washing, otherwise you won't have any clean clothes tomorrow. It doesn't take long, but if I don't do it and then I wake up tomorrow morning and I have nothing to wear, I'm going to be distressed. A work example is that of a morning I might need to send a video to a sponsor for a review. That takes me under 5 minutes. It doesn't seem like a big task, but if I don't do it, I'm going to be very distressed when my upload day rolls around and I don't have anything to upload because my video hasn't been approved yet. And we all have tasks like that. Tasks that you need to do in order to keep processes rolling or to keep other people moving. It might be turning something on, writing a very quick reply, doing a quick errand. But whatever it is, it's something that if you put it off, it will delay other people or it will delay important processes. The author of Work Clean calls these tasks process tasks. I call them motion tasks or unblockers because they're either about creating motion by kicking off a task or maintaining motion by keeping a task going. And they're often about unblocking something else. If you've recently set up productivity routines or you've always had productivity routines set up, but you don't feel like you're using them to their fullest potential or they just haven't really worked for you, this is the video for you. It's going to be linked on the screen as well as down below. I appreciate you so very much and I will see you soon.